You've written a verse, you've written a chorus, but as soon as you try to link them, it all feels a bit forced. Maybe you've read up on some theory, but you don't want to spend half your time second guessing every chord choice. And without a clear way to bridge those sections, your songs end up sounding clunky. This video walks you through 8 practical ways to connect your sections more smoothly, so your songs finally sound cohesive from start to finish and actually feel good to play all the way through. Let's start with one of the easiest and most natural tricks to smooth things out, something that works even if you only know basic open chords. This also answers a common question: how do you move from one chord to the next without it sounding awkward? See if you can spot a couple of clues in this next example. Rather than jumping straight to the next chord, which can feel a bit like hitting a speed bump, you can soften the path by adding a couple of bass notes between chords. It gives the listener's ear something to latch onto between sections. In the example, I used the A and B notes on the way up from G to C. And then on the way down, I also added the chromatic note B flat. If you know what key you are in, then you can use scale notes. But the quicker and easier way is just to look at the bass note of the chord that you're starting on and the bass note of the next chord, and then to plug the gap. Experiment with it and see what sounds good to you. Add a couple of bass notes between chords to walk from your last chord of your verse into the first chord of your chorus. It will make things sound smoother instantly. However, sometimes a bass note walk isn't quite enough, especially if the next chord feels too far away. So how do you shrink the gap in this situation? Look at this next example with some familiar chords. This time I used a chord inversion to help plug the gap. Chord inversions put a different note in the bass. This gives you a range of options for the same chord. In the example, I used G/B, which is also called the first inversion. This helped to smooth the movement, along with the A minor chord from C to G. Inverting a chord so the bass note shifts stepwise helps your ear move naturally between sections without big jumps. Okay, but what if you want the transition to feel more dramatic? Like it's pulling you into the chorus instead of just stepping into it. Have a listen to this next idea, moving from E minor to G major. In a common move, you could consider the G chord to be the tonic or 1 chord. When used to start a chorus, this offers a clean brightness. But without the tension of the D7 beforehand, it would just limply collapse into the next section. D7 here is called the dominant or 5 chord. It strongly pulls the ear towards G major. There's also another way to move to any chord that your chorus might start with. Notice what I do in the next example. We're still in the key of G major here, but this time E minor is followed by E7. Did you hear the pull of this chord? This is a secondary dominant, which is a dominant chord that targets a chord that isn't the 1. In this example, it targets A minor, which the chorus started with. If you're not familiar with this concept, just search online for what is the secondary dominant of the chord that your chorus starts with, and it will give you a dominant 7th chord to use. A dominant chord at the end of your verse creates tension that the chorus naturally resolves, and is one of the most powerful ways to make the transition feel right. But smooth transitions aren't just about chords. Sometimes a short melodic idea can be enough to bridge the gap. But how do you make it feel intentional and not random? Have a listen to the next example and see if you can spot how the melody ties the end of the verse to the start of the chorus. This idea is flanked by the D major chord, which is the 4 in the key of A major, and the A major 1 chord to start the chorus. In between, we have a melodic riff idea. This is based on the notes from the E7 chord, which is the 5 chord that we discussed earlier. As such, This functions in a similar way, building tension towards the A chord. You can also take a small melodic fragment from the chorus and play it just before the chorus starts, or change the notes to something like we just saw, but match the rhythm of the chorus melody. It creates a sense of familiarity, like the chorus has been foreshadowed. Listeners love it when a new section feels connected to what came before. But what if you want a more subtle technique, something almost invisible that still connects the sections? Try this. On the face of it, this is just two basic open chords. So what's actually happening here? Sometimes two chords share a note. For example, G major and E minor both contain the notes G and B. So if you're moving from G to E minor, let those shared notes ring out during the transition. If they're played on open strings, even better. Open strings tend to sustain longer and feel more natural. This is especially useful in finger-picked passages, where continuity and resonance matter more. But even in strummed sections, letting a shared note ring across the change can smooth things out. If two chords share a note, let that note ring out, even better if it's an open string. It creates a sonic bridge that smooths over the transition. Now here's a technique that doesn't rely on music theory, a way to make your transitions stand out even if the chord shapes stay exactly the same. See if you can notice what it is in this next example. When everything's played at one volume, sections blur together. If you strum the verse and chorus the same way, then the impact gets lost. But what if you played the last bar of your verse softly and then slammed into the chorus? That contrast alone can signal a new section. Or the reverse, build up gradually through the last two bars, adding energy, so when the chorus hits, it explodes. That swell creates momentum. Dynamics act like punctuation in a sentence. They tell the listener that something important is about to happen, and you don't need new chords or fancy theory to use them, just awareness and control. This is especially effective if the chord progressions are similar between sections. The dynamic shift becomes the signal that something has changed. There's also an even simpler variation on this idea. Listen out for it when I play now. Sometimes all you need is a beat of silence to really build tension and allow the chorus to really shine. So gradually increase your strumming energy into the chorus, or drop to silence just before it. Both techniques give the chorus more impact. Now that you've learned how to connect your verse and chorus with smoother transitions, what if you could make each individual chord change feel more musical, expressive, and emotionally rich? Watch this next video to discover 5 dead simple ways to transform your chord changes, so your songs don't just flow, they feel like you.